Hey folks, welcome. Thanks for joining in on another session of What's the Point? I figured to every week I get some of these news blasts or things that airlines are doing and whatnot, right? And there was an interesting one that came through from Delta, and it was a gamification of some of their routes and things like that, which I thought was a nice interactive way of positioning or or kind of presenting some routes and options to Europe. So I thought, hey, this looks like a fun game, and we should definitely play along in this forum here. So, right. So here, Delta. The Delta had this lovely thing where you were able to answer some easy questions and it'll take you through a bit of a path, understand what kind of traveler you are, what kind of things you like. And then based on everything you've put in, it'll give you some European city options. So this is a great game for those that may not have decided what their European getaway is going to be, either, especially for the summer. So they're presenting this as for readers to look at and do their thing and figure out which European cities they should go to. So I figured, hey, let's bring this on. So here goes. The first question. You've just arrived at your destination and dropped your bags off at the hotel. What's next? And reflect on what do you do? What are your preferences? So the options obviously in front of you. A scenic walk to stretch out your legs, locating the nearest bar for a drink and a snack, relax and plan for tomorrow, the largest coffee cup you can find or cup of coffee you can find, and shopping is your first priority. Yeah, Greg's in. Greg says the scenic walk to stretch out your legs. Yeah, 100%. I think that's what I would do as well. I'm not much of an extreme planner once I'm there, once I'm in the city I needed to be. Um, Coffee doesn't excite me as much. I mean, it's not like the first thing on my mind. Shopping, heck no. Especially when I'm thinking Europe in summer. I don't want to be walking around in that heat, trying to shop. Locating the nearest bar for drink and a snack, I guess that could be a near second, depending on what time I get in. If I get in super late where I can't do much, then yeah, it'll be a quick walk along the block or wherever it's easy to have a quick walk and get myself acquainted with the neighborhood. And then the second thing would be to find a quiet bar or something where I could just have a drink and a snack and just observe the world around me, that kind of thing. Uh, all right, I'm gonna go with scenic walk. Let's see. So we do scenic walk. We are moving on to the next question. Uh, what what are your travel photo vibes? Quaint cafes and lattes, striking architecture, beach chair and umbrella against the waves, all your best meals, old world ruins. Yeah, see, now this is interesting. I'm in Europe. I've just gotten in. I've gotten my walk done. Maybe the next day. What are my photo vibes? I guess all my best meals would be amazing. Cafes and lattes again, not architecture. Old world ruins really intrigues me. Beach, definitely not. I'm not a beach person. I mean, I love beaches. I love going there for a little bit, but I cannot spend more than an hour or so on a beach just doing nothing. So, yeah, Heather says same answer. Oh, Laura said architecture as well. Yeah, yeah. Actually, architecture, old world ruins would definitely be for me as well. We have a couple of architecture, so let's go with architecture. Striking architecture. What's next? What's your drink of choice? Beer, wine, coffee, cocktail, tea. More recently, and there's a little sub story here. For the longest time in the last, I would say 10 years or so, I started getting these temperature spikes in my body every time I would have red wine, particularly, and even some whites. So I figured in my own non-medical way that I was allergic to some kind of tannin or sulfurs or something like that. But on a recent trip in Europe, I started having more of the European local wines, and I realized I wasn't getting those temperature spikes anymore. So I've become quite the European wine person now, or we have. Made sure that there's always enough European wines in the house, so I've been enjoying a glass or two every now and then. So yeah, I'm gonna go with wine on this one personally, but let's see what others have to say. Anthony says, Anthony's here too. Hey, Anthony, local beer, local spirit, or if I can get to an LCBO cocktail, says Laura. Fair. So couple of beer selections, cocktail, coffee if it is day. Hey, what? Don't judge. Whatever. Beer if it is day, wine if it is day, all works. Cocktail daytime is a interesting one. Who would do cocktail in daytime? And when we say daytime, I'm not talking breakfast. It could still be daytime. If it's past noon or past 2 p.m., you're on vacation. Whatever. I'll have a glass of wine or two. But hey, Adrian, to your, yeah, coffee in day, beer at night. It's always 5 o'clock somewhere. Exactly, Greg. Yeah, for sure. Okay, where are we landing? Are we doing beer? We've had one cocktail answer, couple of beer options. Okay, we'll go with beer. Adrian says, gotta get the local artisanal coffee. I guess coffee if morning and the afternoon would be either coffee, beer, cocktail. Yeah, get it. Fair point. We'll go with beer because we had that as a couple of answers. So let's see where we are at. What's the next? When choosing a new destination to visit, what are you looking for? Best local cuisine, museums, theaters, and monuments, something your kids will enjoy, a beach for relaxing, nightlife. Nightlife is out for me. Beach is out for me. Local cuisine for sure. Museum, theaters, and monuments. Europe just reminds me of more lineups, so I'm not doing that. Something my kids will enjoy. Good for them. I don't have kids, so I don't have to worry about them enjoying anything. But for those that travel as a family, of course, that would be a good one. I don't mind nightlife, but nightlife, I'm thinking like clubs and loud places. I'd rather be out on a patio, like a night patio, and just hang out there with friends or by myself with a glass of wine and just observe the world go by. Um, what are some people picking? Local cuisine, I think, or nightlife. Yeah, pub. Exactly. If I had to pick two, those would be my choices too, Adrian, for sure. Laura says museums, monuments are kind of what define Europe, for sure. And they do. It's just when I think summer in Europe, all I can think of is every major landmark, museums, and monuments included have a giant lineup to get in. Yeah, Heather says, I'm more about walking around interesting neighborhoods or finding the weird thing that you can only do there. 100%. That's me as well. Uh, at least some of them, midday is good and they have timed entry. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. I know a lot of people that would spend mid-afternoons or middays inside museums and closed spaces to stay away from the heat. And once the sun sets, they're more walking around and doing the neighborhood stuff. It's a good point, Laura, for sure. I've Should we pick museums and such? It sort of becomes very quintessential Europe. I want to see what Delta will say if we lean a little bit heavy on nightlife or local cuisine. I'm leaning on local cuisine, so let's go with that. Right, that's a large question or a big question rather. What's your travel personality? Laid back and down for everything? No. Adventure seeker to a certain extent. Bougie traveler, 100%. You've planned everything to the last detail. Hell no. The wanderer. Yeah, yeah. I'm laid back as well, but I don't think I'm down for anything. Laid back wanderer type would be my personality out of these options here. Adventure says Heather. Fair. A couple more answers. We have one adventure and one maybe the wanderer from my end. Anybody else? Okay, let's go with wanderer. Oh, who are you traveling with? If I'm not by myself, I'm with my partner. Uh, Partner says Adrian, sure. P2, partner usually, yeah. Okay, we'll go with partner. Friend or kid, fair. Okay, you know what? Here, Laura, we haven't picked any of Laura's suggestions yet, so we're going to go with best friend because guess what? All of our partners are our best friends too. Oh my, I didn't realize how many questions this was. What's your favorite summer activity? Sunbathing and swimming, drinks with friends on an outdoor patio. I think we've leaned towards that one before. Live sports, indoor activities that keep you out of the heat. There you go, Laura. That's what you were talking about. Picnics in a park, drinks with friends, 100%. Outdoor patio. Oh, final question. What kind of question is this? What? Potatoes or tomatoes? If we pick tomatoes, would it send us to Italy? If we pick potatoes, would it send us to England or Ireland? Is that how they're deciding? After all of that travel personality, this, that, and the other, we've ended up with the ultimate question of them all: potatoes or tomatoes? I guess tomatoes. Yeah, I'm a MSG person, so tomatoes have natural MSG in them. So yeah, tomatoes for me too. Oh, is that what it is, Heather? North and South? No, Northern Europe is a little more potato leaning. Southern is tomato leaning? Huh. Oh my, I didn't know this was a thing. Tomato Europe, potato Europe. Holy, nice illustration. Thank you, Matthias, for sharing that. Huh. Southern Europe is very cliched for most people well-traveled. Tomato. Well, I was going to say, let's do Northern Europe and see what pops up. But in summer, potato. Oh yeah, well, yeah, 100%, Laura. I'm with Laura on this one. We are thinking summer Europe, so I'd rather be somewhere north as opposed to the heat of southern Europe. We'll give it another. Matthias, you don't have you gave us a great illustration. What's your answer to potatoes or tomatoes in European summer? I think we have a couple of potatoes, or not a couple of potatoes, couple of answers that are potatoes. Uh, so I vote potatoes because Matthias is German. Fair enough. Okay, let's go. Okay, so after all of that, they gave us the most cliched European getaway, Amsterdam. Yay. I guess if we are going Amsterdam, and if we are in Canada, we are all using Air France KLM's Flying Blue and not Delta, right? I would say for me, based out of Ottawa, it's just easiest to use Flying Blue because often we are um, on the Flying Blue promo list. I would definitely leverage that and use save my points. It's a short flight as well for me. Folks out west may have a different answer because to them this is going to be a longer flight to Europe. But Adrian says, yeah, Toronto, Amsterdam on Flying Blue. What's a good route for Delta? I think for Delta, you will have to position yourself. I think it'll bring you, if you looked at Delta without looking it up, somewhere out of New York, it'll bring you New York, Amsterdam would be the quickest and easiest if you're thinking out of Toronto. So Toronto, either LaGuardia or Newark, and then direct into Amsterdam. Let's take Freddie Awards. Hopefully, I wanted to mention them as well. So Freddie Awards is an award that most airlines and hotel industry, loyalty program industry sort of really follows. This is kind of like their Oscars, and they will reach out to all of you. As long as you're a member, you'll start to hear from these airlines and hotel chains to vote for them as the best one. We've done one of these before as well, so may as well do. I'm ready to vote. There we go. It's a good thing it's anonymous, but you can do it directly on their website or wait for your favorite loyalty program to send you an email, and then you can go that way. Yeah, so 3 regions, depending on where you are. So we are obviously Americas. What's the first question? Program of the year. Oh, we have to rank. Yes, I forgot that this was more of a ranking thing. What's your program of the year? And I know this can be very different for everybody, but if I had to ask you program of the year, what are your thoughts? I'm thinking in terms of easiest to access as and when you need them, and you use them the most often for whatever travel you do, whatever kind of travel you do. So if you had to pick 1, 2, 3, what would your program of the year option be? I don't know if Scene will be here, but we can take a look. Yeah, so Scene won't be here because it's a bank program, and we noticed that before as well. So this one is program of the year airline. So we are looking at airline program of the year. Mine is definitely Aeroplan 1, 2 American for me, and then 3 Atmos. That's how I see it. Anthony, Aeroplan. Oh, Flying Blue, of course. Why? You know what? Uh, I'm going to go with Flying Blue. Yeah, definitely use that program a lot more in terms of redemptions and such. Atmos is very niche. Oh, Flying Blue is not shown here is because Flying Blue is a European program, I suppose. And we picked North America as our spot. So that's why it's not here. Okay. So if Flying Blue was part of this, then I would totally pick Aeroplan, American Advantage, and Flying Blue. But since Flying Blue is not part of this screen because we've picked North America, Atmos it is for me. Right? Okay. Uh, Program of the year hotel. Program of the Year hotel. I suppose, I mean, every person in Canada is going to go with Bonvoy. It hasn't been bad for me, so I'll go Bonvoy Hilton. Do you have a core? Yeah, a core has been my third option more recently. So with that, but what do you guys think? Marriott Hilton Choice. Yeah, I haven't used Choice, and I keep thinking about Choice every time somebody mentions it. Greg says Hyatt. Oh, Hyatt first. I would agree. I mean, when I had Hyatt status, that would have hands down been my first, but I just don't engage with Hyatt as much anymore. Best promotion airline. What promotions? Did we see some really interesting or good promotions? What did Aeroplan have? Aeroplan Elite members could accelerate their status with the 2x. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. In 2025, a lot of us use that to get our bump. Okay, they get one. FIFA tickets was a bust. Life miles for sure, because the 170% bonus is pretty solid, or even 200%, up to 200% bonus is what we've seen. And maybe WestJet to celebrate the launch of all new WestJet program members had the opportunity to win 25 grand prizes. Okay, sure. Keep it Canadian. Cool. All right, we've given it some time. So if you take your time, to make sure you put your votes in, it does count. And yeah, the awards and such will roll in the next couple of months, but make sure you put your votes in on freddieawards.com. Or like I said, you can also wait for your favorite loyalty programs to send you an email saying, what else can we talk about? So since we were talking about hotels and such, I wanted to quickly kind of mention the Marriott update. It's nice to talk about Marriott in a positive light, Marriott Bonvoy in a positive light. So they announced recently that the free night award top-up limit has been increased from 15,000 to 25,000, which is fantastic news for us all, for those of us that have these awards sitting in our accounts. So your 35K free night award is now good for 60,000 redemption, 40,000 can be used for 65. And on the upper end, if you have the 85K certificate, which you get with Bonvoy Brilliant Card, then you can use it for up to 110,000, which is fantastic. Great value. But of course, it comes with some questions as well as to, oh, why is this becoming so lucrative? And I suppose as we get into busier travel season and dynamic pricing in place, we are going to see more and more uh, properties be on the higher end of things. So this just allows your free night award certificate to go that much further. At least imminently, if you're able to book something, book it right away. We don't know when these devaluations or certain properties that will bump up. So your free night, 35K free night award is usually attached to all of the credit cards, major credit cards here, all of the credit cards here in Canada, and of course in the US as well, business and personal. 50K free night certificates is typically with the Chase Bonvoy Boundless card, and the 85K, like I mentioned, is with the Bonvoy Brilliant card. With my Marriott nights, I'm finding I'm changing my vacations to have 5 night stays before I move to the next city. Yeah, and that is to leverage the fifth night free promo. For sure, I do that as well. Oftentimes when I'm booking something out, say with through Amex, I'm looking at the third night free promotion if I get that through the uh, Fine Hotels program. Um, yeah, so often people will assign different sort of value prop and different strategies to where they want to do or where they want to use and how they want to use their points and awards. And fully agree with Greg. That dynamic pricing, the best thing it does, it kind of makes a lot of things available. So if you're points rich, you're easily able to use up your points and save the cash. When you're not points rich and when you don't want to use your cash, or if you only want to maximize value, that's when dynamic pricing is the biggest hurdle because the value prop is not always the best. In another Canadian news, on March 10th, there was some good news for folks that fly out of Billy Bishop YTZ. So pre-clearance has now opened up, US pre-clearance that is now open at Toronto Billy Bishop, which is fantastic news. Even if you're connecting or that if you live closer to downtown and that island airport is your go-to spot, then that is an incredible improvement to your overall journey itself, because now you can get your pre-clearance done before leaving Canada. And once you sort of land, grab your bags and you're out, you arrive as a domestic passenger. Um, and of course, Air Canada, Porter has been operating um, US flights out of Billy Bishop for eons now. And they have, what is it, 16 daily flights to five different US destinations out of Billy Bishop: Boston, Chicago, Newark, Washington, D.C. I think, yeah, Washington, D.C. and Chicago. Porter is changing from Chicago Midway to Chicago, whatever the main international ORD is called, escaping my mind, but which is great news again, because if you were connecting from Toronto downtown into Chicago ORD, and then you can connect from there onwards wherever you needed to go. Fantastic news. And there's also a new service they're bringing in from Porter, that is from Billy Bishop to Nashville, starting May 11th. And Air Canada, of course, announced the new US routes out of YTZ as well, which coincides nicely with the pre-clearance opening up. So Air Canada will also fly Billy Bishop to Boston, LaGuardia. So this is a nice little option. If you're going Porter, you can access Newark. If you're going Air Canada, you can access LaGuardia. In my case, LaGuardia tends to be a little more lucrative. DC and of course Chicago, which is fantastic options for those that use Billy Bishop. Uh, I'm just trying to think, do I have any Billy Bishop stories? Oh, the only other thing is Billy Bishop's only lounge is the Aspire Air Canada lounge, which is a fantastic lounge. If you haven't had the chance to, you should. The only drawback to this is with pre-clearance and such, unfortunately, the lounge is not on the US side. So you have to sort of, come in, sit in the lounge, or use the lounge on the domestic side, and then maybe make your way to pre-clearance. Those are completely separate sections. So actually, would you be able to access? Now that I think about this, I don't think you'll be able to access it if you were going into the US pre-clearance. As soon as you go there, you're cordoned off and you're in a separate area. Unfortunately, you won't have any lounge options, but for all of the other domestic flying, of course, there's no issues with that impressive lounge, which is the Aspire Air Canada lounge. Right. Hey, speaking of bigger jets and stuff, maybe a good time to talk about another collaboration that sort of reignited the excitement in my mind about United Polaris. And you won't be wrong if you've heard me say that I'm not the biggest fan of United Polaris's dense cabin configuration. The good news is obviously last year they had announced that the brand new 787 nines, so not the 787-9 generally the aircraft, but the new delivery of 787-9s that United is going to get is going to come with the enhanced United Polaris. They're continuing to sort of invest in that product's future, next gen Polaris product. So the brand new 787-9s that are being delivered to United are equipped with the enhanced Polaris cabins, which include Polaris Studio Suites. For those of you that remember, I wrote about the Studio Suites, which will have the caviar service. Perhaps that rings a bell to some people. Yeah, so Polaris Studio Suites is row 1 and 2, so slightly taller. These cabins that are much more sort of privacy oriented. So think Swiss Senses, or think the Allegris product and what they have done with the first couple of rows with their seating. A similar idea that you'll have sort of higher doors, more privacy, better food and beverage service, including the caviar service I was talking about. Um, these they are supposed to be in service sometime in early 2026. I think imminently, within weeks, we should hear about the first couple of routes that are going to fly these enhanced um, United Polaris routes are going to be San Francisco to Singapore and San Francisco to London. So keep your eyes and ears to the ground if you are looking to lock in one of these routes on the brand new. So there are two things you have to look for: those particular routes, and you're looking for 787-9s out of these. So they have to be brand new 787-9s. If you just look up, say, 787-9 on United on flight connections. You'll see they already have a whole bunch of these 787-9s that are flying all over the place, but that's not the ones we're talking about. We're talking about the brand new ones that will get delivered to them soon. The first couple are supposed to come through fairly, I mean, any week now. And they'll be flying. They have already announced that San Francisco, Singapore, and San Francisco, London would be the first two routes that will be flown on these enhanced Polaris cabins. So look forward to that. On top of that, they announced United Polaris is now partnering with Chef's Table. If you know the network, if you know the show that was on Netflix called Chef's Table, if you haven't watched it, do watch. It was a nice watch in terms of food and travel mixed in together. I remember watching that show when it came through during pandemic times. I think that was one of my favorite shows, Chef's Table. And yeah, so 10 new restaurants slash chefs are going to join this partnership, and United is going to curate chef-led inspired cuisines from regional cuisines from these hubs. So if you're thinking of San Francisco to Singapore, so Singapore-focused meals and such through these Michelin star chefs. So that's the announcement. So when you combine those two, the brand new enhanced United Polaris plus the new United Polaris partnership with Chef's Table, it makes for an intriguing enhancement to not just the hard product, but overall soft product in the cabin as well. So with that, I'm really looking forward to flying one of these newer configurations with the new soft service engaged in there as well. So definitely take a look when you get a chance. Heather says WestJet just tweeted regarding power bank limits coming March 19th. I'm not pleased. How much are we talking about? Power banks have always been a bit of a concern due to being a serious fire hazard. So I'm not surprised that this is coming through. Safety advisory, new requirements for rechargeable devices. We are introducing new safety requirements for rechargeable devices on all WestJet and WestJet Encore flights. These measures are part of a proactive approach to reducing risk and helping ensure a safe journey for everybody on board. Rechargeable device requirements effective March 19, 2026. No rechargeable devices in check bags. Yeah, I don't know why this is a new thing. It should have always been the thing. They used to tell you that before and leave it up to you to decide. But more and more airlines are getting very sensitive around this just because of safety concerns, fire hazards, and such. You don't want a bag that catches fire in the cabin hold, catches fire, period, but unattended in a cabin hold for sure. No recall or damaged batteries devices permitted. I don't know how they'll enforce something like that. Limit of one power bank portable charger per person. Again, I don't know how they'll, if you have it with you in your carry-on, other than letting you know the restrictions, I don't know how they'll enforce it. One e-cigarette per person. Power banks cannot be charged on board. Power banks cannot be used to charge other devices when on board. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, they rather you connect directly to the flight charger as opposed to charge your power banks. Fair enough. I think that's a fair ask, knowing that the current situation with power banks is such that they tend to overheat. Some of them will catch fire if they're defective and things like that. So I'm not pleased with this. I think it's fine, but yes, it is a serious thing that airlines have to think about. But at the same time, I can see how it can be an inconvenience for people that do like more devices to be charged or bring in more devices. So I suppose the idea is bring them all charged so that you can use them during your trip while you're inside the aircraft. And if you had to charge something, connect directly into the aircraft's outlets. The other news that sort of came through earlier this week was also Air Canada. Air Canada continues to build its feeder network in Southern Ontario through the motor coach service. So this is the bus plus flying all included in one. It's not just your usual bus. These landline motor coach service that they're running are really super comfy, sort of very VIP-esque, plush seats, fully connected, free Wi-Fi, everything on board. And the reason they are so popular and have become so popular in Southern Ontario because it feeds people directly into YYZ. So as opposed to worrying about driving an hour, 2 hours into Toronto Pearson, you can now not only book yourself, you can earn all the points on these ground segments as well, and you can redeem your points for these ground segments, which is fantastic. So Niagara, Sarnia, Muskoka are going to join Hamilton, Kingston, Kitchener-Waterloo. So this feeder network is getting really, really strong for Air Canada. I'm super excited for everybody because they have such a strong presence. Air Canada, Aeroplan have such a strong membership base in Southern Ontario that I'm glad that they're pulling more cars out of the roads. You don't have to constantly worry about, oh, I just finished my 15-hour journey or 24-hour journey, and I'm going to drive myself or find a train or find whatever other ways of getting to the final destination. So this feeder network is clutch. It's fantastic. And I wish more and more airlines can do it. In fact, I wish Air Canada did something like that to feed people out of Ottawa into Montreal as well for some of these long hauls, because Ottawa for the longest time uh, continues to only have two or three truly long haul services into Europe. But if you had to bring in people, connect people from Ottawa into Montreal for bigger aircraft or bigger networks, and I think that's one way to do it. But I suppose their algorithms are telling them that Ottawa doesn't need it as much as some of the smaller regions do, of course, and I agree with that. So yeah, all that said, the good news is, like I said, you can earn and redeem for these ground segments. You can and you'll be protected all the way through. So say if you had to check a bag, when you get to the motor coach service, they will check your bags all the way through. Likewise, on the return, you can collect your bags at your final destination when you've reached, say, a Niagara or a Sarnia or Muskoka, for example. And the biggest thing in for making a case for this service is also the fact that during irregular operations, the airline will book you all the way through end to end and won't just leave you hanging at Pearson, which I think is fantastic. Right. Last topic for me to sort of bring to you folks is ATM fees while you're overseas. Rachel recently wrote a post about the Wealthsimple checking account and the prepaid card that you can get connected to that checking account. It's the only product in Canada that reimburses ATM fees globally. So no matter where you are in the world, as long as you're using that card to withdraw your money, whatever ATM fees you get charged, you get reimbursed. Rachel has actively used this now. She's in Asia right now and bopping around several countries, and she's been using the Wealthsimple checking account. The checking account connected with a prepaid card. The way it works is you open the account obviously digitally. Some of the strong features are no fees, unlimited transactions, up to 2.25% interest rate based on how much balance you keep in the account. And for anybody that's opening a new account, there's $25 bonus to get you started. And when you open that account, the checking account itself is a digital account. You can think of the prepaid card that you can order and get directly from the account as well. That'll come out as a prepaid card, which will be connected to your checking account, and you can move as much money as you want from your checking into that prepaid card, and you can use that prepaid card to withdraw money to use it wherever you need to use it. The good news is no ATM fees and come back to you, and no FX fee is very, very strong proposition for having that checking account and the card. And I did know this, and Rachel told me about this, was Wealthsimple offers this nifty thing where if you have Wealthsimple checking account as your primary, where you're getting your paycheck and everything else is attached, and if it's your primary account and you don't want that attached to a prepaid card in case something happens to the prepaid card, then it allows you to create a duplicate checking account and digitally, of course, and then you can move money from your primary checking account to this other, say, Plan B or travel checking account. So $500, say, for example, and then your prepaid card is only attached to that checking account, which has $500 on it. So another safety feature and budgeting feature that works really, really well. So I think that's really, really fantastic how they have structured it and figured it out for people that may be using Wealthsimple as their primary checking account. So yeah, that ability to link your prepaid card to a different checking account is also pretty solid. If you get a chance, if you haven't used it, like I said, no fees, unlimited transactions, no reason to not have it. And if you wanted it just for your ATM fees as well, I think that's the biggest reason why this community would be interested in it. I would open up a checking account right away. And it doesn't matter if you can even just before your travels, just transfer $1,000 or whatever you think you need in that account. And then you have your prepaid card attached to that $500 or $1,000 account, and you can continue to use it as and when you need. And the good news is, even in practice, Rachel confirms that all of these transfers from primary checking to a travel checking or a checking account into the prepaid, all of these transfers are instantaneous within minutes, if not instant. So you don't have to wait a long, to get your cash if you needed it, and you can get as much cash or as little cash you want. If you've been in a place where you're like, I don't need more than $30 right now, and you're like, oh my God, my bank is going to charge me $5 or $10 just for withdrawing this $10, then I may as well just withdraw $500 at a time. You don't have to do that kind of math anymore. You can keep withdrawing $10 at a time if you wanted to, and any ATM fees that is going to be charged, Wealthsimple is going to reimburse that to you. And the good news is that reimbursement comes through fairly quickly as well, so you don't even have to wait days or weeks for it. We are talking within hours or next business day, you will see that reimbursement would click in. As soon as that charge goes from pending to confirmed, you will notice that it comes through. Your reimbursement comes through right away as well. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you folks. All right, folks. Take care. I'm going to sign off. Cheers. Bye.